With Social Security funds running dry in less than a decade, the big question is, can non citizens and immigrants receive Social Security benefits? The short answer is yes. And Congress just spoke out about this, saying that immigrants should not be receiving Social Security benefits, as well as all the other benefits that American citizens are receiving. So I'm going to play a video clip of what was just said in Congress.
1.2 million cases in which illegal aliens use Social Security numbers that either belonged to someone else or were simply fabricated.
Also, take a look at these. Social Security. Can non citizens and immigrants receive benefits? The answer to that is yes. Also, this one, Social Security has a big immigration problem, but it's probably not what you think. I'm going to go over these articles, play you the full video clip of what is being said in Congress for Social Security for immigrants and non citizens, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate these Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates. And this video is sponsored by my company, YCent. If you or anyone you know is looking to increase your credit score, I got my details down in the description below. So, Social Security, can non-citizens and immigrants receive benefits? So, the answer to this is yes, they can. So I'm going to go over some details about it in this article. As Social Security rules and regulations can get complex, it's worth looking at what qualifies a person for Social Security benefits and how non-citizens and immigrants can oftentimes participate. So my question to you before I dive into this, do you think immigrants and non-citizens should receive Social Security benefits? Big question there. Let us know down in the comments below, yes or no. Getting a Social Security number. So no one can get Social Security benefits without obtaining a Social Security number first. Although some believe that only citizens can have a Social Security number, that is incorrect. The SSA has set up a process whereby non-citizens can apply for a Social Security number as part of the immigration process. Typically, immigrants will simultaneously apply for both a Social Security number and a work or authorization, which are separate transactions. Having a Social Security number alone isn't enough to authorize work in America for immigrants. However, once an immigrant obtains lawful permanent resident status, a work permit is no longer required, qualifying for Social Security benefits. So, immigrants who have work permits or those who acquire lawful permanent resident status can qualify for Social Security benefits in the same manner as U.S. citizens. In other words, you'll need to earn 40 credits of coverage in order to qualify for benefits. So moving on to the next one here, Social Security has a big immigration problem, but it's probably not what you think. So multiple reports have reached the same conclusion about the impact of immigration on Social Security. A recent survey conducted by the Nationwide Retirement Institute revealed that retirees view inflation of potential Social Security benefit cuts as the biggest concerns. So inflation and Social Security have a strong connection, and that's why retirees receive annual cost of living adjustments. There's a close tie between immigration and Social Security as well. Social Security has a big immigration problem. So a negative picture of immigration. Watching the news can give negative picture of immigration. Politicians frequently talk about the influx of illegal immigrants crossing the U.S. southern border. It's such a serious issue that Democrats and Republican senators are working together on a major immigration reform bill. One key concern with illegal immigration is that it can increase the burden on public services. This is especially the case when undocumented workers don't pay taxes. Legal migration usually doesn't cause as much worry for Americans. However, the nonprofit Center for Immigration Studies released a report in 2023 that argued legal migration could present problems for Social Security. The Center for Migration Studies stated that legal immigrants who come to the U.S. later in life could be net drains on the Social Security system. It also concluded that lower earning legal immigrants could take more money from Social Security than they contribute. So basically, if someone comes later on in life, doesn't contribute as much work hours, Then they get Social Security. They're saying that could drain the system. Social Security's big immigration problem. However, none of these concerns are major issues for Social Security right now. So, what's Social Security's biggest immigration problem? There isn't enough immigration. I thought this was interesting. Social Security is funded in part by its two trust funds. The majority of the program's costs, though, are funded by ongoing payroll taxes. This means that the more workers there are in the country, the greater the revenue for Social Security. In 2019, a report from the Bipartisan Center stated immigration strengthened solvency for the Social Security system by boosting the number of new workers without immediately adding more beneficiaries. Because immigration occurs at relatively young ages, it increases the number of workers well before the number of Social Security beneficiaries increases. So, just to clarify here, it's talking about legal migration, not illegal migration or illegal immigrants. So it's a little different here. Also, Social Security's biggest problem, the biggest problem Social Security is facing is the trust funds running out by 2034. So interesting saying how more migrants coming to the country could help add more money to Social Security payroll tax, therefore funding the Social Security fund. So I'm really curious, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? Well, here's the Republican perspective on immigrants and Social Security.
I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. H.R. 6678 makes aliens inadmissible to and removable from the United States excuse me, for committing Social Security fraud and identification document fraud. The numbers are staggering. In 2017, before the Democrats opened our borders and produced the largest illegal mass migration in recorded history, there were 1.2 million cases, 1.2 million cases in which illegal aliens used Social Security numbers that either belonged to someone else or were simply fabricated. A 2020 GAO report on employment-related identity fraud identified more than 2.9 million Social Security numbers with risk characteristics associated with Social Security number misuse. Last year, an investigative report published by Real Clear Investigations said this, quote, reports dating back over a decade show that hundreds of thousands of Americans are unknowingly sharing their Social Security numbers with illegal aliens. Victims may face tax bills for income they didn't earn or depleted benefits. Worse, some may experience the burden of bad credit histories and criminal records inaccurately attributed to them after being issued Social Security numbers that illegal aliens have previously invented and used. The overall impact on American citizens is largely unknown because federal, state, and local governments, as well as financial institutions, have generally failed to notify them even when fraud is suspected. The Trump administration documented the extent of fraud, during which time it notified 1.6 million employers of employees whose Social Security numbers didn't match government records. The Biden administration then took over and has since brought 5 million illegal aliens into the United States. And they stopped the practice of notifying employers of fraudulent use of Social Security numbers. No doubt it was just too embarrassing. This has been going on for years, but it is sure to have grown exponentially during the Biden administration. We don't know because the administration doesn't want us to know. The current process for holding illegal aliens accountable for ID fraud is bureaucratized to the point of absurdity. In one case, for example, an illegal alien trafficking in phony identification documents was placed in removal proceedings in 2005, and then nothing happened until 2013 when the endless appeals process finally concluded. Despite the harm of Social Security fraud and the increasing number of illegal aliens committing it, there is no guarantee that an illegal alien committing it can be declared inadmissible to or removable from the United States. In fact, in at least the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit and the 9th Circuit, and potentially the 4th Circuit and 10th Circuit, certain Social Security fraud offenses do not carry immigration consequences. This bill changes that arduous, counterintuitive, and lengthy process by streamlining the analysis and ensuring that criminal aliens can be held to account and quickly removed from the country for victimizing Americans through Social Security and identification document fraud. In doing so, the Consequences for Social Security Fraud Act protects Americans and strengthens the immigration system. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves.
What are your thoughts on what was just said on the Congress floor about immigrants and Social Security fraud? Let me know your thoughts on that. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
The one thing for the tip of the day, be glad what you have because I might not be there because if you really wanted something and now you don't like it, you have to take a chance what you had before because I might not be there. So that's the last tip of the day that I wanted to give. Bye, it's Bella.
Thank you so much. If you want to see the difference between Social Security policies between former President Trump and President Biden, you're not going to want to miss this video right up here, which I go over what they recently have just said about Social Security coming up into the presidential election. So click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.